If I were to suddenly get $1 million, I would buy a large mansion for me and my family with an absurd amount of bedrooms and an even more absurd amount of bathrooms, which would largely go unused. This is how I would have spent $1 million as an 8-year-old, but as I've gone older, my answer has changed and evolved over time. In fact, just a year later at 9 years old, my answer was already drastically different. At around 9 years old is when my mom began to place emphasis on teaching me about finances. This entailed learning about the cost of living, as well as learning about the value of money and how it fluctuates over time. And due to my mother and I moving around a lot frequently when I was younger, I became aware of the prices of rent and the cost of owning a home at a relatively young age. This meant that I was aware of just how far $1 million could stretch. And the reality was that in California, it doesn't stretch very far. If you buy large one-time purchases such as luxury homes, luxury cars, or luxury clothing, these types of items do not allow for your money to grow. Sorry, let me get that. I'm here to explain what I would do if I were to receive $1 million today in the present. Are you supposed to represent a second version of myself in order to illustrate a change in perspective? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that checks out. Go ahead. If I were to win $1 million today, the first thing I would do is hire a financial advisor. Although my knowledge of money and the cost of living has increased over the years, my knowledge would not compare to that of a professional, so I would really value having a third-party opinion. Secondly, I would begin investing. I currently run a small business where I handmake jewelry, and I would use the money in order to grow my business. I would do this by starting off with hiring a graphic designer in order to create a cohesive brand identity. Next, I would place emphasis on marketing, and I would use social media and run ad campaigns. Lastly, I would invest money into my materials and packaging to make sure that my product is of utmost quality. And I think this is a smart decision or a way to spend the $1 million because it would create a steady income rather than a one-time payment of $1 million. Thirdly, I would use the money in order to improve my family's quality of life. I would start off by paying off my mother and my sister's student loans, as I am aware of how the student debt looms in the back of their minds. I would also pay to get my father better health insurance so that he would then have access to the medications and procedures that he needs. And to finish off, I would give my brother the money that he needs in order to continue pursuing his bachelor's degree, which he has put off for the last few years due to the cost. My answer to this question may change again within the next few years, but I know that my ultimate goal will always be the same, which is to provide financial freedom and prosperity to not only me, but the family that has sacrificed so much in order to provide me the opportunities that I currently have.